A family pet attacks and kills a 6-year-old boy.
Just a really sweet, happy-go-lucky kid.
Neighbors rushed to help Daylan Guillen, but it was too late.
He loved baseball and water parks and his 3-year-old dog.
Sorry.
Doctors at 2 hospitals tried to save him, but they couldn't.
Daylan Guillen died at Sarasota Hospital today, 1 day after the pit bull mix mauled him. Thanks for counting on NBC2. I'm Kelly Burns.
And I'm Christy Soto. A GoFundMe page started for his family says Daylan was an organ donor, and his kidney will be given to save 2 other children. NBC2's Rachel Whalen is live and local tonight in Northport, outside the baseball field where Daylan played and was a bat boy.
The Northport Area Little League says that Daylan Guillen loved playing baseball and he loved being here in Atwater Park. The team says that all of his teammates will miss him greatly.
He just loved being wherever the boys were. I joked in the Facebook post that he had 14 older brothers from the juniors team. And I know a lot of those kids are upset.
Nicole O'Brien works for the Northport Area Little League. She says Daylan Guillen was the kind of baseball player who never wanted to leave the field.
Just a really sweet, happy-go-lucky kid. Loved to play baseball. Didn't care if he ran out on the field with the big kids or the little kids.
Sorry.
O'Brien is trying to hold it together, trying to wrap her head around what happened to Daylan. He was killed by his family pet, a pit bull mix. This Ring camera shows the moment neighbors rushed to help Daylan after he ran outside. Northport police arrive just minutes later.
It's just a tragedy overall. You know, you have people that love their kids, people love their pets, and then when they don't mix, I mean, it's heartbreaking.
Northport police say the dog mauled the boy inside the home Tuesday morning. They say the dog bit him in the stomach. Rescue crews flew the child to Sarasota Memorial, then to Tampa General. He died in the hospital there. Now the league is trying to raise money to cover medical and funeral costs for the family that always supported them.
They're always very embracive of everybody else, making sure that everybody has what they need, always cheering on the other kids on the team, whether it's their kids that did the play or another kid.
Investigators say the 3-year-old pit bull has lived in the home since it was a puppy, and there's been no issues with the dog before.
Nobody asked for this, obviously, and with no previous warning signs, you just never know. So it's probably the worst type of case we could possibly work.
We know the dog was taken to Sarasota Animal Services. We reached out to them to see what will happen next, but they have not gotten back to us. I'm live reporting in Northport. Rachel Whalen, NBC2.
So that was the report of a somewhat recent case, a very tragic case at that, because it involved a very young person, which is extremely unfortunate, in the city of Northport, Florida. This happened in July 4th, Independence Day of 2023. And this is the report as posted on dogbite.org. Boy dies after a dog attack. Northport, Florida. A 6-year-old boy is dead after sustaining severe injuries from a family dog on the 4th of July. The Northport Police Department responded to a home in this 2700 block of Badger Lane at about 10:30 a.m. on the holiday. The boy was airlifted to Sarasota Memorial Hospital, a level 2 trauma center, then transferred to Tampa General Hospital, a level 1 trauma center. By 3:15 p.m. Wednesday, the boy had died due to injuries suffered to the upper torso. At first, responders were en route. Audio dispatch log files from Sarasota County Fire State. A 6-year-old male was bitten in the throat. Northport Police Chief Todd Garrison stated in a press release, "Our hearts are broken for this young child and his family. As a father and pet owner, I know this is one of the worst tragedies I can imagine. We ask that everyone take a few moments to pay respect and reflect on those you care for in your life. Our time here is precious." The dog involved was a 3-year-old pit bull mix, was taken into custody by Sarasota County Animal Services and remains in their custody. At this stage, NPPD officials said investigators are not aware of any previous incidents involving the dog's behavior Officials also confirmed that the dog lived in the same home as the child since it was a puppy. The case remains active and ongoing as of Wednesday afternoon, according to Northport Police spokesperson Josh Taylor. At least 8 Americans have been killed by dogs in the last 4 weeks. 63% of these deaths involved a pet dog killing a family member. Each of these deaths involved a pit bull or bull breed. The Northport attack appears to have been savage. It was clearly a disproportionate response to whatever events, if any, precipitated the violent attack. This family pet repeatedly attacked the child in the stomach, upper torso, and neck, if one combines the different media reports. So that was the reports. The child was identified as Daylan Guillen, according to the police. And again, this is horrendous. This is absolutely preventable. The victim here was a 6-year-old, mauled and killed by a family dog. There's a photo, presumably of the pets of the house, one of them being the perpetrating animal in the middle of the photo. Perhaps I will post that photo in the outlet where I post this video or audio file. You could take a look. The pit bull in the middle is the one that perpetrated. I am not sure of the status of this animal at this point. The animal may have been quarantined, euthanized, who knows? I have not looked into that. The report doesn't specify it. But the highlight here is that it was a home pet that perpetrated this very horrendous and extremely violent attack on a person, on a young child. Again, as I've said before, children are prime targets for these animals. These animals know children are much smaller than an adult, much weaker, much less able to defend themselves. So they will attack children with much more ease than a strong adult or even a strong older child or young adult. They will also attack older individuals. I am not sure what the ratio is between very young children and very old people. I will be looking at that here very soon and share that with you. But it is clear that children are one of the 2 target groups for these vicious and savage animals. The breed, again, was a pit bull mix, a notorious aggressive breed, even though many people will challenge this, will push back, will deny, will outright just lie on behalf of their pets, will protect their pets, will not get rid of their pets, and will not even accept that these pets are aggressive. This is statistically proven, folks. This is not something that is made up, something that is a feeling, a hunch. This is statistically proven. And the people that are defending these animals and saying that these animals are not really naturally aggressive, that it all depends on their upbringing, their care, they're either fools, they're fooling themselves, delirious, or they are delusional, because statistics prove this, and it has proven this repeatedly, that these animals, even though they are brought normally under normal conditions, which are far from optimal, far from the best conditions, from even recommended conditions, speaking just, excluding any abuse, excluding any beatings, excluding any obvious or any kind of mistreatments and maltreatments, that is excluding any of that I'm speaking about. The upbringing that these animals get. These animals get at best a mediocre upbringing under the best of circumstances. And yet here we are. We see in this latest example, this is not the only one by far. This is only the latest, one of the latest. Perhaps there are more by the time you hear this. But this is a perfect textbook example of the fallibility of this argument, that pets are only aggressive only if they're brought up the wrong way, they're abused, they are mistreated, etc. This dog was presumably brought up under very normal circumstances, and yet it went on a frenzy. It went bonkers, it went apeshit, and just basically destroyed this poor child, his organs, his flesh, etc. And that proves beyond any reasonable doubt that these pets are inherently aggressive. It was a 3-year-old pet that was brought up from puppy ever since it was a very young animal. So it was not like a pet that was just brought up to the house, introduced, was not used to the child, etc. No, this pet was already a member of this family for 3 years, and ever since it was a puppy. One image that I will never forget, and is the epitome of what you should not be doing with aggressive pit bull-like animals, is this image of a boy sleeping, hugging, and laying down in bed with a pit bull. It appeared to be a boy of about 6 to 7 years old, and it was depicted in an ad for a mattress company. It was prominently displayed on a truck, and I even took a photo of it, and I put the caption, "This is what you should never do." And a lot of people think it's adorable and cute when kids hug and kiss their pit bull pets, grown-ass pit bull pets. They hug them, they ride horsey on them, they again kiss them and poke them around, kick them around. People think it's okay, it's cute, and they allow it. And this is not recommended, my friends. This is obviously a bad idea. And just to show you how this bad idea is just prominent and widely accepted as a good idea, is that example of that huge picture on that truck running around town, showing it as if it was something that kids should try, that is okay, that is accepted. Kids sleeping and hugging dogs, aggressive, large dogs. And again, things like that end up in tragedies just such as this, where kids end up being killed by their very own pets. Who knows what happened? No one knows as of right now, as it is described in this report, what exactly went on between the child and the dog. It is not by any means justified what that dog did, but presumably, according to what I read here from this report, this child was alone with the dog in the bedroom. A 6-year-old child is expected to want to play, to want to interact with humans, pets, with games, whatever. So it is not inconceivable, it is not far from possible that this child could have been playing with the dog, innocently playing. The child was likely untrained, uneducated on how to treat an animal, especially a large dog such as a pit bull. And the child also accepts this animal as part of the family, as a trusted individual, as a trusted member, as a trusted pet that would never harm him. So of course this child may have wanted to play. It was probably grabbing the dog, pulling the dog, holding the dog, hugging the dog, riding the dog horsey, moving it around, shaking it around. Who knows what may have triggered this? It may have been nothing. The dog may have just went apeshit on its own. Who knows? The point is that this child was, 1, untrained, and 2, left alone with the animal. 2 things you really do not want to have whenever you have a aggressive pet in your home and you have a young child in the same home. You want to first train that child, make sure that child knows what not to do with the animal, and at the same time you want to not leave a vulnerable, weak, young, inexperienced, and uneducated child with an aggressive, a potentially deadly beast as a pit bull or a pit bull mix or any other large dog. Again, folks, these animals are very highly equipped, highly weaponized, highly armed, extremely well armed, with powerful jaws, with enormous teeth and canines, and these dogs' bite are of tremendous pressure, and a lot of them don't loosen up this pressure. They could hold this pressure for minutes. So you really don't want a child anywhere near an animal with such capabilities, such strength, and with such aggressiveness. People are obsessed with these animals for some reason, just like people are obsessed with weapons, guns, ammo, knives, anything violent. society culture in today's day and age is just overwhelmed by violence on TV. So they obviously think it's cool, it's hip, it's something that young people are into. And this is sad because this type of mentality is what encourages a lot of people to own these very aggressive and intimidating animals. People want to intimidate. That's why they get mohawks. That's why they get a bunch of tattoos all over their necks and arms. They want to get a bunch of piercings so they can at least appear to be aggressive. They appear to be tough, no one to mess with. They want to intimidate. And a lot of young people have this mentality, this erroneous and just stupid mentality. And people think it's cool. That's why they get these dogs. And they often are, again, younger people that really don't have much training experience or education in many occasions, many times. They lack all kinds of judgment. And the result is that they don't know themselves. How in the hell are they going to teach their own children on the dangers of these dogs, these animals? They don't even accept it themselves. So how the F are they going to pass that along to a young child? Impossible. They're ignorant dog owners. Leaving kids alone with dogs is ridiculous. Obviously, this was the case because neighbors had to run to aid this poor child as the attack was occurring back in July the 4th. So these dog owners, these irresponsible, idiotic, and ignorant dog owners expose their own kids to these aggressive beasts. They expose neighbors, people around them routinely. And again, they are wholly responsible for what happened. It is not the animal's fault. It is not the child's fault. It is not whatever the child may have done. Those things are expected to happen, and they will continue to happen if in fact the attack was in any way provoked. What needs to happen is that people need to take precautions. People need to first not own such animal if they're not ready, trained to do so. Take the precautions to do so, to keep that animal away from children, keep that animal locked up, keep that animal corralled and secured. When you have to do all that, what is the effing point of having that animal in the first place? Get you a security system, get you a camera system if what you need is security and protection. Again, folks, these animals are more likely to harm yourself and loved ones than they are to harm any would-be perpetrator, trespasser, robber, attacker, criminal, whatever the hell you want to think that your dog is for. Again, neighbors and family and friends need to educate these folks. These folks need a lot of love in the form of education, training, and just a good talking to. Because, I mean, these people just appear not to care, appear not to know what the hell is going on. People need to bring these people back to reality and tell them to keep their kids away. A lot of these young parents are not responsible parents. A lot of these young parents are just living life, trying to make ends meet and trying to survive themselves. So a lot of them are in such desperate situation, doing drugs, drinking, doing all kinds of smoking, attempting to just survive psychologically themselves. So they are in no position to really keep a child or a family safe from even their own self, let alone their aggressive family pets or anything that's dangerous around the house. So they may need some external help, some external TLC. So let's give it to them whenever you do get the opportunity. Even though they may not like it at first, at least they get that information. They may think about it, sleep on it. They may at least have heard it, that dogs can attack, can bite, can react unexpectedly to any situation, especially those from a child. So we'll leave it at that. I could go on with this for a bit longer, but please let me know your comments, your thoughts about this. What should be done with not only these animals that are aggressive, but also with these irresponsible and just in denial owners that have these aggressive animals. Thank you very much.